so hysterical, you know, the whole time that it was...
You mean conscious on board the craft?
Yeah.
So you don't remember a 5-day period of actually being on board
Right.
The craft? Okay.
Over this period of time now that you've had to reflect on all the events, do you think that it seemed in the movie that you were attacked by this craft, and there was a lot of malevolence towards you?
Yeah.
Do you feel, has your feelings changed about that? Or?
Well, yeah, they have, but, you know, in one sense, the movie was accurate in taking that approach, because that's the way I've experienced it at the time, you know. It was very traumatic, and I did experience this thing as a very hostile thing. It's only in more recent years that I've come to kind of reflect on this a little bit and say, well, you know, at least I was returned. I was alive and whole and healthy, and that says a lot. You know, they could have tossed me on some cosmic garbage heap somewhere, you know, if they were completely indifferent.
You know, you and I talked about this. This is kind of a celebrated incident, because not too many, if one that I might know of in Argentina, I think, that was taken for a period of time because of his beard, the length of his beard. Seemed to have a 5-day growth of beard.
Yeah.
But you and I talked about this. Do you think possibly that you came close to the protective part of the craft that automatically shot this light? And now, I know this is going to sound strange, but actually killed you? And you died, or you came so close to death that the people in the craft said, oh no, we really screwed up here, picked you up, and then somehow brought you back? Because the way
you know, death in a clinical sense, you know, people are brought back from that sort of a state, their heart stops beating, that kind of stuff every day, you know. So yeah, maybe something like that happened, and you know, as to whether it was a deliberate beam, or if this was some kind of a side effect of the propulsion unit, or maybe some sort of automatic defense. I couldn't, you know, guess on that, but I kind of do favor the explanation that it was somehow accidental.
Now you, the way the encounter unfolded, you were in the truck with your friends, you saw this object,
yeah,
and you got out of the truck and ran over to it. So you were in much closer proximity to the craft than anybody else. Did you get the sense that the craft was accelerating, like it was getting ready to leave?
Yeah, I did get that feeling once I got up to it. When I first headed towards it, I didn't really notice the sound that it was making, but the closer I got, then I noticed these weird tones. And it was only when I got up pretty close that it suddenly got louder and it started to move, and that's what really scared me.
Travis, what possessed you to do that?
Well, you know, when Alan Dallas was interviewed by Hard Copy, he says he just felt that it looked like I was just, you know, compelled, just being drawn toward this thing. But, you know, in my own mind, the way I felt about it was that, you know, if I didn't get up close before it got away, it would just be gone, you know. And so the closer I got, and it's not taking off, you know, then I started to have misgivings and kind of slowed down and had second thoughts about what I was doing.
Yeah. Have you reflected on that? It's like, if it was to happen again, would you be charging out of the truck?
Oh, definitely not. That was that was a very foolish thing, and it changed me.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we have set up a little roll-in that you did an interview with CBS, I think, about 5 years ago, and we're just going to run a segment, kind of like if we were to take Fire in the Sky, the movie, and run the abduction segment there. So this is closer to what actually happened. So if that's ready, Nick, go ahead and put it on the screen for us, please.
Gave an official report.
Your name, Mike Rogers.
They told Mike Rogers it was the first time the polygraph examiner had such a large number of subjects to work with regarding the same event, and actually used the word proof in his report. He said his findings positively proved the men did see something that they believed was a UFO.
No. Did you see spacecraft?
Yes, I did.
Later, Travis returned with a remarkable story.
When I felt the numbing shock, I blacked out, and the next thing I knew, I regained consciousness. Not quickly, sort of gradually. My head wasn't real clear. I was in a lot of pain. I was laying on my back. I didn't know where I was. I remembered what had happened in the woods as I was regaining consciousness. I was trying to figure out what I was and what was going on. I thought maybe I was in a hospital or something, that I'd been hurt. I was standing in front of those things that were coming towards me, and they stopped there and they stood there looking at me. These huge eyes just seemed to just look right through me. I didn't get any impression of emotion. It was a very detached sort of just observing sort of thing, but it seemed like they could see everything I was thinking and feeling. Very disturbing feeling to feel so exposed. These huge eyes looked at me, and when they'd blink, and on an eye that big, the eyelid just slid down and opened like a window opening and shutting, and it just had the strangest sort of feeling. I couldn't bear their gaze.
Get back!
There was a lever there, and when I moved that, the star pattern appeared to move. That kind of disoriented me for a minute because, it felt like I was moving kind of for a second, because this was, to have everything suddenly shift like that. But I figured I'd better quit messing with that. I had by that time surmised that I was in some sort of craft and connected it to what had happened before, and figured I might crash this thing or something. This person was not like these humanoid creatures that I'd seen earlier. This looked like a human being, looked like a man in a blue uniform. I went up to him thinking, that I was being rescued, that I was being saved, that this was a person, I started asking all kinds of questions.
Where am I? Where are we? And who are those things that I saw? Talk to me.
When that door opened, there was an inrush of air, and it felt like fresher and cooler than where I'd been. It must have been like the air I was in